Tyler, I believe you just saw Game of Thrones for the second time.
Oh, you want me to do that on the pod? All right,
You,
I
you,
got
you spun the block on Game of Thrones.
you. Yeah, so
What was your experience this time around? How was it different?
you just see a lot more details, obviously, right? And you can appreciate several things. Again, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You kind of know of like the Red Wedding, you know of like the Battle of the Brothers, like the banger episodes that are like staples, right? But one thing or not one thing, a couple things that I've realize or kind of appreciated more, right? When it comes to some of the relationships, like with um with Jamie and what's Shorty's name?
Who? His mom?
Nah, damn man, I'm sorry, I freaking
The
blown.
sister?
Nah, the Shorty that had him in prison, and then they kind of fell in love. Big Blondie.
Oh, the big, yeah, 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 yeah.
Damn, why I don't know. Brianna Tarth. That relationship, it went bad. Like that was one relationship in there that I took for granted the first time because I thought that was one of the best storylines because they actually truly they had love for each other,
That
if
was a
not
beautiful relationship.
romantically. But Jamie always did something that you would remember and be like, "Oh, that's right.
That's why he's
This
a piece of shit.
that's why he's a piece of shit."
So wait, in the end, did he cross her or some shit or
In
what?
the end, he leaves her to pretty much die with Cersei. They make love. They have they're like everything they've been holding back for half the relationship came
They
into
had great
fruition.
chemistry. They had a great relationship, from
They
what I
did the
saw.
way he knighted her, and that was one of them that I really liked.
The way he blew her black down.
Yeesh. Another thing that I really appreciated more was when Arya was learning about the many-faced god. That was cool the first time, but even second time, just to get a lot more of um, the kind of roller coaster ride that because she was several people at one point and you just kind of had to keep up because
Yeah.
that's what the god she was
Such a dope era.
she was
That's like really
doing.
when they got into like the Mystic Sword and all that.
Yeah, Littlefinger I hate even more the second time around. He's not one that I was happy when he finally left, and I loved how they set his ass up with Arya coming in looking like the victim, and Sansa came in like a G and pretty much took him out in front of everybody,
Hmm.
and that was really fun. Um, I know this is going to be controversial, but even before I watched it the second time, Brand is one of my favorite characters. I
Who?
thought his character was so dope.
Who?
Brand, the three-eyed raven, the story that this pretty much is all about.
The Jit in the wheelchair?
Yeah,
The Jit that got pushed out, episode one, out the tower because you seen the brother and sister hooking up.
yes, sir. I think he was the best, one of the best characters. The mystique, that how everything really evolved around him getting to the three-eyed raven, him knowing everything, and seeing what will happen, what
Right.
does happen, and him at the end
Like a
finalizing
full
his
circle moment.
his whole thing. He's like, when he became king, he said, quote, "Why do you think I came all this way?" Because he knew he was going to be king. Because one thing that they did is they said he knew about the past, the present, and future. They left out the future part a lot of the time that he was becoming the three-eyed raven. They always said, "Why does the Night King want to kill you?" Is because you know the present and you know the past. If we get rid of you, everything is forgotten and everybody can turn into zombies, right? That's why the Night King wanted to take the three-eyed raven out.
Yeah.
They I think they did on purpose. That way the viewer can kind of forget about that because he said the past, present, and
And
future.
those like visions he always had were always showing like the past and shit too.
Yeah, so I thought Brand was an awesome character.
But
I
was there
really
anything that like you didn't notice your first time that you noticed the second time?
just probably a lot more of the settings, like the
You were more
architect.
in tune with like, all right, this is here.
Yes, like the where the map is, like how the map
Yeah.
goes. Just being also watching House of Dragons, like kind of seeing it through there, and just more appreciative of the what's the right word for it? Like the backdrop. You know what I mean? Like all the buildings that they were in and how they were architected. And the
Gotcha.
last season is very, very controversial, right? Because it wasn't originally
Very
created.
forced, very rushed.
The first time I watched it, I took it as is. That's what I think when someone puts out a huge project like this that we're not going to see another version of. To be upset at it is one thing, but to like hate it and criticize it, you're just making yourself angrier because you have to take something as is,
Yeah.
even if it's not what you want to see. Correct.
Yeah.
The second time around, the last season was not a good season.
It wasn't. It wasn't. And I like the conclusions that they came to. Like I like
Right.
Daenerys being evil and doing all that, but I feel like there was no progression. It was just one day to the next, like boom. One thing I noticed because I only rewatched the first episode after I watched the whole thing. Oh, anyways, we never talked about this, but Game of Thrones, one of our favorite all-time shows, one of the greatest shows ever, taught me how to be a man.
Okay.
Taught me
Right.
about honor, taught me about family, taught me about loyalty, all that. But one thing I noticed just from rewatching the first episode, because I really do want to rewatch it, crazy foreshadowing. Like I remember in the
Oh
first
yeah.
episode, um, Daenerys goes to take a bath, and the servant or whatever who was like making the bath water, she's like, "Yo, it's steaming hot. Be careful." And Daenerys is like, "Oh, I'm good." She just walks in it. It's like boiling, and she doesn't phase her at all. Obviously, that's foreshadow, lets you know Mother of Dragons
Yeah.
or whatnot. But shit like that from the first episode, it's crazy foreshadowing. So I feel like watching it for the second time, you just pick up on mad shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another thing, why is this show so great? Right. The writing is incredible. The storylines, the ups and downs. Right. But the thing that I appreciated most about watching it the second time was not only the acting for certain people, but the iconic storyline and character that they were. I think Jon Snow is one of the best characters of television.
For sure.
The way he has to go, he's
One of
so
the craziest
honorable.
arcs.
Yeah, up and down, with him being a wildling and then taking care of them and being killed for taking care of them. All that, just up and down of all of that. Him be not wanting to be king, but he has the birthright to be king. Oh, and another thing, Daenerys, this whole thing could have been avoided if she wasn't entitled. That's all it is. It's entitlement. A whole show is about her entitlement. But anyways, and then I think, and when I told my wife this, she spat on me pretty much. I think the best actor slash actress in this is Cersei. She is a villain.
Yo, she
She is
got to
a
be the best
villain.
one. Hey, listen. Who's the one you hate the most? That's the best actor. That's just the question. That's it. That's it. Who's
She's
the
the
one
best.
you hate the most?
She's the
Cersei.
best
That is one of the
actress
bro, Tyler.
actor.
When I was watching that show, I would tell my wife, like, yo, if I see this bitch in real life, I would spit on her. Like, I would literally curse her out. I don't care if it's a show, fam. Like, you did that role so good. You got me hating you, like, as a person. Like, fuck the actor. Like, fuck the character.
Yeah,
Great.
but like
Yeah, no,
beyond, yeah,
no, for sure. I would say I would agree with you. I would say she's the best in the whole show.
yeah, and just to finish it off, I did like Sansa a little bit better this time around. That first I didn't. And oh, and
Hey man,
Joffrey,
she goes through a lot, bro. She
yes,
goes through a
yeah,
fucking lot, fam.
Joffrey's also one of the worst human beings ever.
See, next to Cersei, I would say that's my second most hated on. And not even Ramsay, because he's just a fucking sicko. But Joffrey and Cersei, hey, and that's why Joffrey had to quit the show. Like the real life actor, he had to quit the show because he was getting like,
What?
yeah, he was getting death threats and crazy hate mail and all that type of shit. Yes, sir.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's why you'll never see that boy acting again.
Wow. One big hole that I did see in this that I thought about was in one of the first seasons. Um, the doctor that wouldn't go against. He said he wasn't a doctor, but he was a medical person. The guy that made the mountain like a zombie, right?
Yeah.
He, for whatever reason, rose up the ranks very quickly in Cersei's book with no type of, yeah, he made her a monster, but that was it.
It's just like one season to the next type shit.
It was just like all of a sudden he was hand when she was queen, which I
Right.
was like, he didn't really do anything to kind of catapult to where
Made
he
her a
is.
monster is crazy.
That was it. But yeah, Game of Thrones was awesome. But it's I don't if you haven't seen it, watch it because it's really one of the best shows of all time, and it takes me a lot to
Nothing
dig
like
into a
it.
show. Yeah,
Nothing like it.
it's really one of the greatest shows of all time, of all time. But that's all I got for God.
Hey man, great review. Great review.